Hello everybody. So today I thought I would show you my Bryan Lee O'Malley collection of graphic novels and comics. I'm filming this in the middle of the day, so I apologize for any background noises of birds chirping because I have a tree right outside my window. And I'm also taking care of a puppy this week that I couldn't bear to close the door on. So if you hear any scuffling or baby moans, it is the puppy. And so I just want to clarify that I am not a super big comic book fan or know much about comics in general. I just love really good storytelling and unique ideas. And for some reason, I have made it my mission to collect all of Bryan Lee O'Malley's stories. So, I am not an expert on the Pilgrim series or his latest series of Snotgirl, but I thought it'd be just fun to take a look at how his work has progressed throughout the years and just share art in general. This is kind of like a different form of art than what I do, but it's still art nonetheless. So let's get into it. So this is Bryan Lee O'Malley's first comic that has been published. I believe it is called Lost at Sea. Lost at Sea. And this tells a story about a girl in high school. It's a sort of coming of age story, I suppose. This girl in high school decides to go on a road trip with some of her fellow classmates, and it's all about figuring life out because I think she just graduated from high school. So this is what you see when you first open it. Lost at Sea by Bryan Lee O'Malley. I have a lot on my mind and not a lot to do, so it's going to come out, all of it, and then it may begin to make a sort of sense. So you can see, if you are a fan of Pilgrim, that this is a very minimal comic of just drawing and shading and the speech bubbles. As opposed to in Pilgrim, he had, there it is, Pilgrim. He had colored in his pages, and they were a bit more glossy, maybe semi-gloss. But this paper is just simple. It feels like newspaper paper. Out of all of his stories, this one I think is my least favorite because I don't want to be rude, but some people may see this as a diss. I do not, because it's one of my favorite genres, but it seems like a bit of a mumblecore to me, just like a slice of life. Nothing much happens other than the main character telling the audience her thoughts. And she has recurring nightmares about cats, I believe, which was a little funny, maybe a little jarring for me to see at first because I wasn't expecting it. But I'll just read the back cover to you. Raelle doesn't have a soul. A cat stole it, or at least that's what she tells people. Or at least that's what she would tell people if she told people anything. Why is it all so terrifying? Why is it everyone so hard to deal with? Why is she in a car with 3 of her classmates driving halfway across the country? What is she even doing here? She doesn't even know them. Raelle is 18 years old and she has no idea what she's doing. If you've ever been 18 or confused or both, maybe you should read this book. Sorry for stumbling. I am not used to reading things so loud. But there we can see, I believe that's Raelle in the corner chasing the little kitty. But I think we'll move on. So here we have the Scott Pilgrim series. There are 6 volumes altogether, and each have their own cover and sub-cover, just like the Harry Potter books. I really like the covers. I believe I said that they were colored in, but now that I'm looking at them, I see that they aren't. That was my mistake, but the covers are colored in. If you've seen the movie, I feel like you either really like the series or you're tired of hearing about it. I personally don't mind the movie. I've seen it multiple of times. The first time I saw it, it was because my sister showed it to me when I was a kid, and she was older than me. She was in high school and she was very much the target audience. And the other times were because I liked Michael Cera, or I wanted to widen my wardrobe. And sorry for the jump cut if there is one, but I just had to give the puppy some attention real quick. But I was trying to incorporate the fashion into my wardrobe. Or I was... this is kind of embarrassing, but I was trying to understand how to be in high school. Like, I was figuring myself out in high school, and I just watched the movie a lot for escape and solace, and I found the different relationships within the movie very interesting. I apologize for the glare up here, but I want like full brightness to show the colors of the comics covers. I think the humor in them really intrigued me when I first saw the movie, and me seeing the movie made me want to buy all of the comics. So I bought all the comics, which were the first Bryan Lee O'Malley comics I ever bought. So let's say that these ones are my favorite covers. I don't really like the covers with Scott, but I like the 6th cover because I love Ramona over here with the star in her hair. And I feel like this one isn't just Scott. I feel like it has all the elements of the comic within it. This over here, I believe, is Scott's ex. Natalie, I think. And then here we have Ramona Flowers. And this to me looks very like, this is Ramona, this is who she is. Here's another Ramona Flowers, looking a bit like, what? Who? Me? What are you talking about? So, maybe I should flip through them, finally. So the first book says, Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. So that's like the introduction to his character. Obviously, it's the first book and it's named after him, the whole series. It says, everything is totally sweet. You'll laugh, you'll cry. This is Scott Pilgrim. This is your life. Oh. Knives loves him so much. Here's when he first meets Ramona at the party. With the early 2000s, 90s style. I kind of blend them in my head together. The music in the movie was also so good to set the tone for every scene. I believe there's a recipe for a meal of some sort in here that Scott gives. So here's Ramona when you first open it up. And there's Scott Pilgrim, and they did this for the intro credits or like the main menu on the DVD or something in the same font with Michael Cera holding a bass. Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler. And you see the Canadian snow. I also love how in this, when they introduce a character, it'll say their name, how old they are, and then like their rating. Since I was a kid, when I first saw this, that was the first time I saw that type of introduction storytelling. I don't know if it's been used in other places. It most likely has. If you could let me know, that'd be great. But it adds like a fun, witty, non-serious tone, I guess. I don't know what I am saying. Oh, I love the sex bomb stuff. We are a sex bomb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and also in the comic, they like give you little tidbits off to the side where it tells you the guitar chords. It says, "Hey kids, now you can play along with Sex Bomb at home. It's easy because they're kind of crappy. Look, this whole song only uses 3 chords. G, C, and E minor. And then up here, I believe, are the song lyrics that Knives Chow is so impressed with. Because as we've established, is a high schooler and will be impressed with anything that an older guy shows her. remember which volumes told which stories. I'm guessing since this one has Scott's ex on the front, that it like tells her backstory and everything, and has Ramona's ex's backstory when they go see her in concert. And I'm guessing the last one shows what happens within like the last few episodes of the movie. It's like defeating all of the exes. I am more familiar with the movie. I have only read the comics once, and they do tell more of the story if you are craving that. I didn't feel like I was missing anything from the movie, and I felt like everything in the comics was just like a bit elaborated on. I believe her name's Envy Adams, actually. I feel like that might be just a stage name. I feel like her real name's Natalie. Oh, and here's Kim up here. It tells her backstory that they briefly mention in the movie. But they show like the visuals of the big man in the purple suit. Oh, this is mystical powers. It's the Ramona's first ex. There's Todd with his bass. Up here you can see Scott and Kim in color, and I don't remember that guy's name, but I know he plays the bass. And he says, a gig is a gig is a gig is a gig. It's a great oddball tale that captures the energy of a generation. Things keep happening. I love Ramona's expression on this cover of her being like not interested in Scott's like hypeness or that enthusiasm. I feel that way sometimes of like Ramona says Scott Pilgrim gets it together. And there's more of the 8-bit game. Oh, here's some colored images. It like takes more time to color comics in, and so that's why I'm assuming that the whole comic series isn't in color. So that's why when people saw it in the theaters, it was probably so interesting to see everything come to life. And I agree that it was, to see the colors of Ramona's hair come to life with all the different wigs. And here's them on the Canadian beach together. I like Ramona's teal hair. So I thought we could take another look at another one of the comics. And on this one, instead of versus the world, it's Scott Pilgrim versus the universe. And I love Ramona's style here. When I was in high school, I used to try to dress like Ramona with the tights and shorts and then like a shirt and a jacket. And then she has her crossbody purse here with a star. You can't see it right now, but trust me, it's a star on the back. And I would also have short hair and dye it lots of fun colors. My wardrobe was not as cool as Ramona's, but alas, I still tried. So I guess there was a video game. And you can really tell that the movie did keep a lot of the cartoon elements, maybe not cartoon elements, but comic elements of the like lines, like dramatic lines of something happening, or like putting like emoji things over people's eyes to signify a emotion that our faces can't make exactly as in a comic. And I saw one of Scott's shirts here. Here it is. They like really copied, not copied, but like stuck to the costume elements in the book. Here's Kim. She was always zipped up, had her short red hair and freckles. Here's Wallace with his like preppy style look. Knives, who's trying to look like Ramona with her skirts and short hair. And then Scott with his like banshee shirt of the base. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what's happening here. The comic is fading. I wonder if it's one of his like when they meet in the like alternate universe in his dreams or something. Yeah, there's a bed. I don't know. I'm sure some fans would be like screaming at me because you're like, she hardly knows Scott Pilgrim. And you'd be right. Here is Ramona's little star purse. You see, there was a star in the purse. So this is Bryan Lee O'Malley's third comic series. Scott Pilgrim had taken up a lot of his time, and he gained a lot of fans from that series since it was so successful. And so I call this his third comic series, I guess, because Scott Pilgrim to me just seems like one chunk, which was a lot of his life. But I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It even says on the cover here, it's the author of the best-selling Scott Pilgrim series. And so, with that famousness he's gained, the audience he's gained, he now has used color in his comics, which I like a lot. I don't know, I'm just a very visual person, and I like color. I love pops of color. This is a half, like, this is the sleeve, and then you can undo the sleeve and see what key elements to the story there are of this guy who, my camera got out there, so I apologize again if there's another jump or a change in the lighting. But let's look at the couple more side, and here are more elements to the story of this tree and some more of the characters. It looks all very mystical and magical. This is more of a graphic novel than a comic, which is I assume, a bigger endeavor. It's not just him this time. He has other people working with him, doing the drawing, lettering, and color to tell the story. we have some quotes. I guess I could read them to you. It felt a kind of vertigo, as if I were merely plunging from one world to another, and in each I arrived shortly after the end of the world had taken place. Italo Calvino, if on a winter's night a traveler. And then on the next quote is by Fleetwood Mac. And I said, could it be me? Could it really, really be over and over? And there's the tree, the image of the tree again. A symbol for something. I honestly don't remember what the tree symbolizes. I think I have an idea because I've read the story before multiple times, but I guess I should read it again. We open on our main character, who wakes up and finds a mysterious person in their room, which scares them, and they kind of have a fight. And then she pops into the cabinet and disappears. I think I've spoiled Scott Pilgrim just because I think it's really well known. But since this one isn't as well known, I don't really want to spoil it. But I'll just flip through real quick. The humor in this is also really done well, and has a similar humor to Scott Pilgrim, of course, because it's the same author. But this is really cool. It shows you the layout of the restaurant that all the characters work in. The main character owns or is a chef at this restaurant and is trying to buy a new restaurant in town. I believe this also takes place in Canada. I'm not quite sure. But, oh wow, look at that town. That's really pretty. But it's about second chances and magic, or maybe lore. I like it a lot better than the Scott Pilgrim series and Lost at Sea, probably because the Scott Pilgrim series was really played on to, and everyone talked about all the time. I'm probably just tired of hearing it be talked about, and I've watched the movie so many times, just the dialogue. I've heard it all before, but this is something new, and even if you're not a fan of Scott Pilgrim, I believe you should really read this. It hits my heart. So before I put this book away, I thought that I would read the inside cover to you, which is basically a summary to the whole book. It goes, Katie's got it pretty good. She's a talented young chef. She runs a successful restaurant, and she has big plans to open an even better one. Then, all at once, progress on the new location bogs down. Her charming ex-boyfriend pops up, her fling with another chef goes sour, and her best waitress gets badly hurt. And just like that, Katie's life goes pretty good to not so much. What she needs is a second chance. Everybody deserves one after all, but they don't come easy. Luckily for Katie, a mysterious girl appears in the middle of the night with simple instructions for a do-it-yourself do-over. Write your mistake. Ingest one mushroom. Go to sleep. Wake new. And just like that, all the bad stuff never happened, and Katie is given another chance to get things right. She's also got a dresser drawer full of magical mushrooms and an irresistible urge to make her life not just good, but perfect. Too bad it's against the rules. But Katie doesn't care about the rules, and she's about to discover the unintended consequences of the best intentions. From the mind and pen behind the acclaimed Scott Pilgrim series comes a madcap new tale of existential angst, everyday obstacles, young love, and ancient spirits. That's sharp-witted and tender-hearted, whimsical, and wise. So I would say that this graphic novel is probably for a bit of an older audience. I would give it to somebody who's mature because there are some like making out scenes or like scenes in underwear or just as a heads up. But I highly recommend this graphic novel even if you're not a fan of Bryan Lee O'Malley. And now we have our last comic. It's Snotgirl. Green hair, don't care. I've gotten the volumes, both volume 1 and 2, because like I said before, I'm not a big comic fan. I like having all the stories together in one cover for me to read. I don't like to have all the different thin comics. But I love the illustrator for these comics. I love the fashion in them and the green hair. I used to have my hair green for a while. But I'm sure, as you can tell, this is not Bryan Lee O'Malley's strong style. He collaborated with Leslie Hung, who is the illustrator. Let's take a look at this first one. Who is she? Lottie Pearson is a glamorous fashion blogger living her best life. At least that's what she wants you to think. The truth is, her allergies are out of control, her friends are terrible, her boyfriend traded her up for someone younger, and she may or may not have killed somebody. It's the first volume of Snotgirl, and things will never be the same. This tells I just told you what it tells the tale of, but it's kind of like a psychological story of a whodunit, but mixed in with the maybe like vapid world of fashion bloggers, and it goes into how people's lives aren't as great as they seem like online. This is one of my favorite pages. I feel like it sums up Lottie pretty well. She has 0 new messages from her friends, but thousands of notifications from strangers. She says, "I'm Lottie Pearson, the best fashion blogger in the world. The illusion is seamless. Can you take another one? I want to try it fresher and funnier. Am I glowing enough? Does my hair look glossy and healthy?" And then this is her reality, which is like pretty dark from how she wants you to believe she lives. And these pages tell it so well. In the back here, they do have the covers of all the comic book issues, which are not done by Leslie Hung, but they tell you in the corners of each layout page who illustrated it. This reminds me of like Salem, Massachusetts or something. She looks very witchy. I'm sure if you've like are in the comic book world at all, you may have seen this cover a lot. I feel like it's one of the most famous comic covers. I love the hot Cheetos, and I've actually done that with my tissues before. And the tissues say it's booger white. Snotgirl or Lottie Pearson reminds me a lot of Daphne from Scooby-Doo was in the 21st century, modernized just because of her obsession with fashion and the like thriller psychological aspect. Reminds me a lot of Daphne's character. Here are just some sketches. And I'll show you the second volume also. It's called California Screaming. And it says in the back here. Oh, they have different icons in the last one here. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that, but in the second volume they're bunnies. But here they're like, I guess old school bunnies. I don't know. I think it's funny. But there's also a colorist and a letterer. There's Mickey Quinn and Mara Adamu. All she wanted was a new best friend. Is that too much to ask? Oh, I feel that really bad. Oh. I can be socially awkward sometimes, or like too in my head to like truly be myself. It says it's one of comics' best psychological thrill rides. And these are kind of like more high quality pages. You can see how his comics have like changed and how they differ from him just starting out to where he is now. And in the back here, they also have sketches, more sketches, and the comic covers. I really like this one. It looks like very retro. And then here are just some like little tidbits and more elaborations on the choices in the comic that were made on, oh, they had like a snot puppy and the blue dress. A character has gotten pink eye. Says, early on I painted Misty with an eye patch and knew it would have to return. Cute girl is a bit like a small animal that makes itself more intimidating and scary by puffing its fur out. So this gothic Lolita-inspired outfit is a bit of all of that. It's playing into the sweet Lolita realm with the gigantic bonnet and the tiered cream cake feel of the entire look. It's a stark contrast to Snotty's outfit in this scene, which is body conscious but subdued. And that scene. This is, I believe, what everyone wore. Actually, I don't think so. Let's find that scene. Yeah. So here is cute girl's Lolita outfit. She's like a Lolita fashion blogger, and Snotgirl's more like a trendy fashion blogger. And you can see her pink eye. And Lottie's reaction to it. They pay a lot of attention to fashion styles for each character and their choices on the fashion they have chosen to give to the character. There's a ghost in this one, and it says, "For the ghost girl up here." I used to shop at Free People a lot when I was a teen, mostly just buying things that were on sale. I went into Free People browsing when I was a teen and only have bought one dress because it was always so expensive for me. But I hadn't really thought about the brand in years. Trends come and go, and apparently the trends that were a thing when I was in high school are now back in style. I like the idea of the ghost stuck in a dress that could easily be either interpreted as very boho chic or a bit modern Victorian. The ambiguity of whether something is old or new, or if it looks good or bad, is something that I think even super fashionable people struggle with at times. I definitely believe that's true. I've heard about such a thing as power clashing, and it's when you wear just like bold pieces of fashion together so that they clash on purpose. But as you walk down the street, you're so confident and love your outfit that you don't really care if someone tells you that it doesn't match. So that was Snotgirl. Maybe I zipped past this one, but I really love it, and I can't wait to read volume 3. It is very, keeps you on your toes. So this was my comic collection. I have some other graphic novels. They're just not by Bryan Lee O'Malley. But I don't have very many graphic novels or comics. That's very limited on my bookshelf, but this is the majority of them. So I hope you enjoyed this video going through Bryan Lee O'Malley's it's not a biography, work, career, yes, and if you're interested in any of these, I recommend that you go for it and just pick one up and read it. Okay, I hope you all have a good day or night, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully.